Big names, big swings, and a few clubs already moving early. Harry Kane's future gets another twist. Manchester City are being linked with a surprise Tonali hijack, and Paris Saint-Germain are in the mix for young Diomande. We've also got fresh noise around Mason Mount, Michael Olise, and a couple of Premier League names who may or may not be on the market. Let's start with the done deals. Harry Kane's story looks like another one headed toward the finish line, with The Athletic reporting that he will sign a new contract at Bayern Munich despite interest from Barcelona. That's as clear a signal as you can get in a rumours roundup, because the report isn't just linking him away, it says the new deal is happening. Barcelona are the club named on the other side of the interest, but Bayern now sound in control of the situation. On this one, the market chatter points to a stay, not a move. Robert Lewandowski's move is presented as a completed switch in the snippet, with BBC Sport saying the former Barcelona striker has joined Major League Soccer side Chicago Fire on a 2-year deal. The cluster also tags Barcelona, which lines up with the player's previous club reference in the report, but the concrete update here is the move to Chicago Fire. There's no fee given, and no hint of negotiation in the wording. So this one reads as a finished deal, even if the extra Barcelona tag sits in the background of the story. Now, the hot rumours. Mason Mount is back in the frame, with the Mail saying AC Milan are ready to bid £21.5 million for him. The other side of the story is just as important, because Manchester United do not want to sell him. So while Milan are clearly pushing, this is still a proposal rather than a settled agreement, and the gap is more about stance than numbers. The fee reported is £22 million. For now, it feels live, but not yet advanced enough to call done. Manchester City are being linked with a move for Newcastle and Italy midfielder Sandro Tonali, with Marca saying they are ready to hijack Tottenham Hotspur's interest. That's a big development because it suggests more than just passive monitoring. City are described as ready to intervene. The same report also says City have already agreed to sign Elliot Anderson from Nottingham Forest, which makes this one even more intriguing in terms of midfield planning. Tottenham are still in the story, but City now sound like the club to watch. Young Diomande has 2 different messages attached to him today, and that makes this one properly live. BBC Sport says Liverpool are targeting the RB Leipzig winger, but that Paris Saint-Germain would be his preferred destination and are aiming to strike a deal with Leipzig. Florian Plettenberg's update adds that Leipzig insist he will stay next season, even though he is reportedly choosing PSG. So you've got Leipzig, Liverpool and Paris Saint-Germain all in the mix, with the player's preference seemingly pointing one way while his club are pushing back. Felix NMECHA is one to watch after Bild reported that he would prefer a move to Manchester United over Newcastle. Borussia Dortmund are still the current club in the story, but the report suggests the player is already leaning one way if the chance comes. Newcastle are in the race, yet United appear to be the more attractive option from the player's perspective. That doesn't mean a deal is close, but it does mean the preference is clear enough to keep this one moving. And finally, the one still on the radar. Chelsea have identified Rayo Vallecano's Pep Chavarria as the man they want to replace Marc Cucurella, according to Marca. The report says Cucurella has been sold to Real Madrid, and Chelsea are now looking at Chavarria as the fix at left-back. There's no bid, no fee, and no sign of talks being advanced yet, so this is still at the scouting and targeting stage. Real Madrid and Rayo Vallecano are both central to the chain, but the Chelsea link is the one driving the story. Arsenal have had an inquiry knocked back by Bournemouth over Alex Scott, with BBC Sport reporting that Bournemouth say he is not for sale this summer. That makes this feel very much like an early touch rather than a proper move. Arsenal are the club asking the question, but Bournemouth's answer appears to have been firm. Until that stance changes, this one sits firmly in the background rather than on the front page. Michael Olise is attracting attention again, with AS saying Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain are among the clubs keeping an eye on his performances for France at the World Cup. Bayern Munich remain the club in possession of the situation, and the report adds that he is set to meet them after the tournament to discuss his future. So this is not an active bid story yet, more a high-profile watch list item with 2 giant clubs noted. Real Madrid and PSG are both named, but the next concrete step appears to be that post-tournament meeting. Manchester City could be heading for a rebuild under Enzo Maresca, according to the Mail, with Rico Lewis among the names potentially up for sale. The same report also includes Nathan Ake, Nico Gonzalez, Ruben Diaz, and Savinho in that conversation. There's no bid, no buyer, and no specifics beyond the possibility of movement, so this is firmly a squad watch rather than a transfer story in motion. Still, when a list that big appears, it tells you the market is paying attention. If you want the daily transfer picture, make sure you're subscribed to the Signing Room. Back tomorrow with the next roundup, and we'll see which of today's rumours actually move on.